welcome to Town Hall 96. It's Wednesday, November 16th, 2022. I am, for those of you who are just joining us, I am in beautiful Astoria at Wana Credit Union here in Oregon with Gary Coates, a frequent visitor here. We just happened to be doing some cleanup work at his credit union before the end of the year. And I knew I was going to be here, so we kind of made a deal to do a town hall from his branch here in Astoria. It's beautiful here. So we've been working all week and got to go to Klatskanai, I believe is the name of the place, just recently. So that's just down the way from here. So this beautiful coast area that I've been to Oregon many times to visit Gary, but I've never been out this way. So I've always kind of been in Portland and some of those areas. So what a wonderful area, and lots of credit unions out here from what I can see. So very, very cool. And you can really feel that the credit union vibe is a big deal. I would say this is one of the bigger buildings in town from what I saw. I don't think there's a bigger bank building or anything around. So very, very cool. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is John Best. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Best Innovation Group. We started doing this digital town hall during the pandemic as an answer to what the heck should we do? And it was interesting. We just started putting it together and invited anybody. And I remember when we first started doing this, one of the things that used to be a slide in this deck was Zoom. We had to explain how Zoom worked. And today I was talking to your head of here. I'm looking at Gary because he's across the thing from here. But I was fascinated to hear you guys were kind of going to Zoom as a platform for your video. For
cloud solution for our phone system.
Yeah, for cloud solution for your phone system and also for the members to do video with.
Right.
So how far have we come? You know, because this would have been, oh, members will never do video. And if we did do video, it would have been, well, we're going to have to find some clean shaven people here at the credit union and maybe put a green screen behind them. And none of that, none of that mattered. It turned out to pass. It was just a matter of sort of doing it. And I remember reading in Brett King's book, his original Breaking Banks, he talked about Skype credit union, which was, hey, what do you got to lose? Just open it up on Skype. And that's really what we've done. So I don't know. I'm going to check again to see if he's here. Melissa, do you see Mike? If he isn't here, I'll just mention him. I don't see him. He may be here in a little bit, but Mike Lawson, when I started this, I wanted to have someone else so that I could, as it went along, I realized that it was getting bigger and more people were attending. And so we wanted to make sure that I had a secondary host because I can't always, be around. And so we have Mike Lawson, who has always been my partner in crime for years and years and years, and called him and said, "This is what I'm doing." And he said, "Oh, absolutely, I'm in." So when Mike's here, he's certainly one of our other players and co-conspirators on this. And sometimes when we're lucky, Glenn Sarvati shows up. I would call him kind of the third host of this program. He gets a full, apparently he's more important than the rest of us. He gets a full slide, and he's the managing principal at 420 Cannabis Advisors. No, 154 Advisors. I'm sorry. I keep getting that confused. I know he's,
420
yeah, here in Astoria, I think is the cannabis banking. There's a lot. That's one thing you have a lot of is cannabis stores up and down here. So I guess it's legal. Is it legal in this state? Is that where all the employees are going for their lunches? Explains it. That's good. That's good. Much better customer service that way. All right. So let's keep moving here. So let's talk about our sponsors. We've got CUNA. CUNA is CUNA National Association. I'm a frequent speaker on their various associations. They have a lending or a loan association. They have HR. They have a CEO council. They have the operations and IT, which just happened recently. Just a great group. Gary, you won an award from them once, didn't you? The CUNA award for. Yeah, I remember introducing you for that. That was very cool. So it's a great place to go if you want to meet other people in the credit union space that are doing similar things. So big stuff happening there. Go to www.cuna, I believe, .org. Yep, cuna.org. Member Pass. I just spoke to John Ainsworth this morning, and he was telling me about all the cool stuff they're planning for Member Pass next year. It really has kind of moved into another place. One of the big things that I was very excited to hear was they just went live with Q2 home banking using Member Pass. So the credit union that's using that now can log into Q2 using their phone, which is their home banking. They can talk to the call center and be confirmed there. they can go through the drive-through and the teller line. So one place to do one kind of authentication, which is something we've needed desperately for those of you who've ever been on the phone, even if it isn't with a Crayons where they're trying to confirm who you are. These days, it's very difficult. As a matter of fact, we talked about some of the security issues that have been popping up lately because of the new tech. For example, it's very easy to spoof a phone number. If you wanted to steal a member's phone number and call into the Crayons and make it look like you were the member, that could happen. So these new advanced security techniques are going to be very important. To stay up on everything, there's no better place to go than CU Broadcast. Mike is constantly putting out interviews. He's constantly talking to people. He has his finger on the pulse, and also just so pleasant to listen to. He's just a great interviewer. If you haven't gone to www.cubroadcast.com, I highly recommend it. And then finally, if you are interested in innovation, we highly recommend you come check us out at big-fintech.com, where all of my crazy ideas come to life. Lately we've been looking into quantum, and I want to get I want to get Mr. Grimes back on this show, because quantum has been making some advancements. John Ainsworth from MemberPass was telling me today that he's heavily looking into it. Quantum is certainly going to be an issue for a lot of different things. We were talking to some of our member Crayons of the Innovation Club. If you want to know more about the Innovation Club, Melissa put a link out there, but it's a group that we meet and we work on different things. But a lot of our member Crayons are now working on dealing with what kind of, their vendors, and putting together a crypto inventory because of the issues related to that. So crypto inventory means that you need to know what kind of crypto is being used for your VPNs, for your files, your storage, because when quantum hits, it's going to break all of that. And so that was, it's a fascinating piece. And it's kind of like having a Y2K moment, but instead of knowing it was, December 31st, 1999 was your deadline, you don't know when the deadline. Any day, any moment, we could get a news break from any of these, AP or any of these news folks that just basically say, hey, we found out that quantum is now a thing, and now all of SSL can be instantly broken. Bitcoin, all of these things, they're going to be in big trouble. So anyways, thanks to our sponsors. We'll move on to the next slide. So for those of you that have not signed up, there's still time. We're just about to put out our crypto report. It's done. Is Elliot on this call, Melissa?
I don't see him. I don't think he's here today.
Yeah, I have him working on something, so he's probably not here. Anyways, we finished this crypto report. We gathered a lot of information for Crayons. Thank you to all the Crayons that were participating. And we're going to be putting this out, I think, shortly. We just got the final approval yesterday. So for those of you that signed up, you'll be getting the report. For those of you that just want the report, go to the website, make sure you've signed up. You don't have to give us the data, but we're going to continue to do this in the next year. We're learning a lot more. We're working directly with a lot of big players around this that are in the crypto space. And what we're trying to figure out is, are your members using crypto? What's happened lately? For those of you that are watching crypto in the last few days, it's actually gone up a little. But it's free, so you can sign up if you want to contribute your data, and you don't have to give us any personal data of your members. All we want is basically the cleansed data. We'll give you the report information. We'll tell you how to do it. And then we've already compiled this year's data, and we'll be providing that free for you to take and use and share with your credit union, leadership, if they're interested, or your board. It has a lot of data about what we're seeing in the Crayons space, about how members are utilizing and doing crypto within the Crayons movement. All right. So this is going to be kind of a wrap up for the year, right? And I wanted to talk a little bit about 2023 and what I kind of see coming. And I think that I kind of wanted to get a little bit of a pulse of what people are hearing out there as well. So I'll start off kind of with my take on 2023. So we've made it through 2022. We're past all these various events, but we all know that there's definitely been a lot of friction in the members' finance, particularly in the stock market. It's been volatile. It's been volatile in the crypto market. And what does this all mean and what for the coming year? And we analyzed it. We talked to a lot of folks. Glenn and I crunched a bunch of numbers. And where I landed was it's really time to put the promise of AI into play. I have a friend, Peter Diamandis, and I love his quote. There are going to be two types of Crayons in the future: Crayons that use AI and merged and gone. Those will be the two types. This is going to separate the men from the boys. And by the way, if you're on this call and you think you're too small to do it, you're not. And I'm going to give you some examples just recently that we were able to call from some of our partner Crayons. So for example, the first thing I'll talk about is RPA. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's robotic process automation. It's a form of automation that has a little bit of AI in it, but it's an incredible tool. And just to give you some numbers, we spoke with several Crayons yesterday, and one of the interesting numbers or facts that came out of it was we had a credit union that had saved almost, I think it was 5,000 hours by using RPA, which means that those are hours that would have been spent by the staff to do things on behalf of the members that were now automated into bots. What these products do is they go through, they take some of the tedium out of things like downloading PDFs or downloading various things from various places, particularly in more complex transactions like mortgages, where there are several steps to complete something and they're always the same. And they turn it into something that's an automated function that the staff no longer has to do. And if you think about logging into one website, pulling down something, logging into another website, that can all be pretty tedious and time consuming. So when I get back to why this is important is we believe that as things move forward, in particular as it relates to next year, that the doing less or doing more with less mantra is going to be really important. As we look at a shrinking liquidity issue, and we've seen a lot of that, as we look at a possible recession, whether it be a moderate recession or a small one, it's still going to impact. As we look at possible supply chain issues around cars for loans and the quickly changing, automobile lending market, looking at different and various financial tools around that. So something like RPA is a start. It's a good way to kind of get your arm around it. I highly recommend you at least look into it. And just to give you a tip, if you are using Office 365 today, and I imagine most of you are, and just for fun, maybe everybody could put into the chat, if you're using Office 365, and then if you're not, put in what you're using. So that would be great. I'd love to see how many people are using Office 365 at the credit union. If you're not, put in Google or whatever you're using. So if you're using Office 365, you have a free version of RPA that you can access. It comes with the Office 365. It comes with the business, the premium, or not the premium, but just the business license. It's called Power Automate. Power Automate is actually a lightweight version of a very expensive tool that others are using, like, and I'll throw it at Cynthia here in a minute, like UiPath, but it's built by Microsoft. And it can do things like pull down those PDFs and create workflows. And it's not hard to learn, ladies and gentlemen. You can watch a couple YouTube videos. I guarantee you have people on your staff who are really smart that can just jump into this and probably figure out, some things to do that would improve your credit union. So for those of you that are on that, looking at that sort of thing, it's really super valuable. I highly recommend that you look for it. Maybe Melissa, you can Google it and put a quick link out there or bring it up on the screen. But Power Automate. So that's just a tip for today that everybody can use for free if you have Office 365. Now, coming back to why I think that AI is really going to be really important for next year, I think that the days of lending that we've been doing where we use only 2, maybe 3, maybe 6 criteria are going to, in order to make loans and make more effective loans, or even to satisfy the new CECL requirements for learning and moving forward, are going to require more criteria. They're going to require AI in order to keep up with the margins. And they're going to require this automation in order to make it happen fast enough that you don't lose the business to someone else. So that's one aspect of it. I think another aspect of the AI journey is going to be, how do you differentiate yourself and create a competitive advantage? And we've been talking about that quite a bit. And I think AI is really going to be the way to do that. Now, whether it's exceptional budget tools using AI, whether it's speed enhancements using AI for your various throughput in different channels like mortgages and lending and other areas, whether it's products and services that are new. And by the way, I'm not sure what all of these are, but I know that to gain a competitive advantage, it used to be, oh, well, we'll have more ways in, or we'll have more technology. I think technology is great, but if its endpoints don't do something, then the value proposition is going to be diminished. And what I mean by that is, it's great that you have a chat, but if that chat can't do something to take the heat off the call center, then how valuable is it really? Is it just a barrier into your platform? And if that chat isn't directly connected to all the other endpoints in your credit union, which could be many at this point, for example, Zoom and these other things, how valuable will that be to everyone else? Or how valuable will be to the member who's looking to not retell their story? I'll give you a great example of an AI competitive advantage that I shared with the IC. The other day, I was at my branch. I was at the End Credit Union branch, and I was standing in line, and what I needed to get was a cashier's check because I was going to buy a truck, and I wanted to just show up and give them cash. I've always wanted to do that, and I finally did it the other day. So I'm waiting in line to go see a teller, and there's a person in front of me, and one of the tellers clear, and I'm waiting for the person in front of me to go, to move forward to that teller, and then I'll be next in line. She turns around and says, "You can go ahead." Anybody care to guess why she allowed me to go ahead of her, other than how good looking I am? Anybody hazard to guess? You can put it in the chat if you want. I bet Tom can guess. Tom O'Shea. Tom, any idea?
Let's say she had a complex transaction. She's probably changing her address.
That could be,
because that's a big issue.
Had a particular teller she wanted to see.
Yes, that was it. And I heard them having their conversation. Tom, she had a particular person. She had a favorite teller. Now, let's talk about that for a minute. A favorite teller. You can do that if you go to the branch. Can you do that at the call center? You can't, right?
Sometimes, not really though.
Yeah, like you can't get on the phone and go, "Who is this?" This is Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy, is Steve there? Can you pass me over to Steve? It just can't do it, because you get the next teller and you get what you get, and you don't throw a credit union fit, right? So what if, and I was looking at some of the new technology, like Glia and these other products that not only deal with routing and transfers and skill-based routing and all these things, but now they're starting to record the emotion. They're starting to give you feedback on, based on the members' responses and their tone, how much they either enjoyed or disliked, or where their state of mind was. By the way, this tech has been around for a while. That on how these members, felt about the person that they talked to, or the conversation that they had. So what if you could reroute that person, or give them the option to talk to the same person through the call center, through a chat, through any of these fields? How hard would that really be? Or even at least make sure that it's someone they've talked to before, that they had a good, right? So you, Albert says you can do that with mini branch. Albert, you want to talk about that for a second? What is mini branch?
There we go. Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you are. I can hear you.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, so mini branch is the latest concept that we developed with credit unions for credit unions. Our original kind of idea behind it was, if a credit union comes to us wanting an ITM, we can certainly help them as an ATM company. The problem is how expensive and cost prohibitive it was. So we looked at creating a solution that can provide the ITM features without the ITM cost. And so mini branch is that. In fact, quite simply, it's able to be accessed with something as easy as a QR code where they can scan the QR code. It opens up a chat console to do live chat, video chat, texting, phone call, direct call to the branch. But they are able to, while they're engaged with a live chat or a video chat, request a specific individual, whether it's a teller or lender or manager, and they can transfer it internally. So the teller or the lender can transfer it to the individual that they want to transfer it to. So no, it's awesome.
Yeah, so they can request it, which is awesome. But also, you could build in down the road using any of these various tools, the ability to just give them the person that had the highest, the highest interaction score with that individual too, right?
Yeah, certainly. I think that's something that we could consider on the roadmap, which I think is a great idea. We also have, Google Translator integrated within the console, so it eliminates even any language barrier. So if somebody
Oh
is
yeah, I was looking
chatting-
at that. That was another thing I was going to mention. Those
Absolutely.
new Google glasses. I learned that in Saudi Arabia. Like Google Translator is your friend for sure,
Absolutely.
especially with dudes with machine guns. You really want to talk to
That's
them.
right.
Um,
True.
So, that's great, Albert. Thanks for sharing. And I look at this sort of stuff, and let me give you what's telling me. People ask me all the time, how do you kind of see around the curve? What do you use as your kind of barometer? And I'll show you what I've been using lately. So just recently, I'm going to share this so you guys can see. This told me something. This is something called Midjourney Bot. So how many of you, and you can just say this in the chat, have seen these AI bots that are creating art? It's like become a really big thing lately. It's a art kind of concept where you're creating art, and so in this case, it's a product called Midjourney. There's a bunch of these, but about 6 months ago, if you played with this, you might have got something, but you'd really have to know what you were doing to really get something good looking. But now where we are is you could do this just every day. So just to show you, I'm going to go in. I'm actually going to stop my screen share because I didn't share it right. I'm fighting with the interface here because I had to change my screen size. So 1 second here while I get this to a adequate screen size where you guys can actually see it. Discord does not like my. By the way, who here is on Discord? In chat, just go ahead and put it in, or even knows what it is. Because that's another area that is becoming a big deal, is these separate communication channels, and this one's a big one that people need to definitely learn about. All right, so Discord just is going to fight me here. All right, so let me just change my screen display size. Sorry, just 1 second. Otherwise, it's going to look weird, and then we'll all have to fight with it. So, but you're going to want to see this. It's crazy. All right, so I'm going to keep these changes. I'm going to switch over. Now you can see it. I'm going to go into Zoom. I'm going to share this. Okay, you should be looking at my screen. Melissa, can you confirm?
Yep.
Okay, so this is Midjourney. And what Midjourney does is it creates art. So we're going to make some art right now in front of everybody.
Well, we're looking at the Discord channel.
Yeah, that's what you should be looking at.
Okay. Okay, good.
Okay, so we're going to make some art. And the way it's done is they said, hey, we don't want to build an interface. And I want you guys to keep this in mind. These guys decided not to build a website. They just decided to build a bot. So here's the bot. It's an AI bot. It's called Midjourney. Midjourney is a product that creates AI art. So I'm going to ask for a few things, and I want to see them in the chat. This is like, it would be like a Mad Lib. All right, so first thing is a style of art. So if somebody can give me a style of art. Could be like Van Gogh or, whatever. Cubist. Okay, so we got Cubist. Now I'm going to ask for a noun of some sort, a person, a shoe, whatever you got. Flowers, got it. All right. So we got flowers, and then we need some sort of an adjective for it, like colorful or dead. Anybody got anything? Okay, so a bouquet of vibrant flowers in the style. Oops, I got to get this into the prompt. Sorry, it's not taking it in the prompt. So you go, imagine, that's the prompt. And I say a bouquet. Did I spell bouquet right, Gary? B-O-Q-U-E-T, right? Of vibrant. Does it not look right? I'll just put a bunch. That'll work. A bunch of vibrant flowers, and I'm going to say in the style of Cubist, which God knows what that's going to give me. That sounds like Scott Mills. All right, so we're going to kick it in and let it do it. And why it does that, I'm going to explain to you again why I think that this is just a big deal in that regard. I'm not going to go into full details on it, but the idea that 6 months ago, if you had played with this, yeah, it would be really hard for you to get something useful out of it. Now, here we are 6 months later, and people are creating unbelievable art using this stuff. So what it's done is it's giving me 4 options, and these are the 4 options that I get to see here. So once the 4 options are done, I could then go into the system and I can tell it, hey, I want to either update these options, or I want to, I can pick one of these different options. And you can see, these are originals. I can also go out, and I'm not going to be able to show you this, but go out to the website and see it. But it made those flowers. Now, let's get from somebody, which of you wants, okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Everybody vote for one of these and we'll get variations of it. So you got 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1, I see 1, 2,
4.
4 is Gary's giving me verbally. More 4s, lots more 4s. All right, I think the 4s have it. So we're going to do variations of number 4. So if I press the 4, I'll get the V for 4. Now, this in and of itself has no use in the Crayon space, unless maybe you're in marketing. But what it tells you and what it tells me, so this was number 4, and these are the variations of number 4 that we're interested in. So it came up with another bunch of variations on number 4. So now the question is, of these, which one of these 4 do you like the best? So let's put in the numbers. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And absolutely, I could put Crayon brands in. I could do all kinds of stuff. So I see 4 so far. Everybody likes 4. It looks like 4 is the winner again. All right, so I'm going to do an upscale on 4, which means it's going to take the number 4 and it's going to do it in high res so we can see what it looks like.
Hey, John, check out
Yeah.
the question in the chat from Albert.
I did see that, and absolutely you can do that. And one way to do it is here, I'll actually do it. I'll do what he said real fast. So I'll go to Visions, which is one of my favorite credit unions because Cynthia works there. You can't see me in the background, but I'm going out and I'm grabbing their logo. So while I'll come back to my thing here in a second, but I'm just going to save this image. I'm going to call it the Visions logo, and I'm going to put it on my desktop so I can find it. And I'm going to go back into the Discord product, which, by the way, it's still working. See, it says 72%, and it's taking this and it's refining this picture. Now, while that's happening, I can keep going because it's a bot. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to upload from my desktop the Visions logo. And now that I've got the Visions logo going, I'm going to let it get uploaded. I'm going to press enter. And I'm going to use the Visions logo. Whoops, it's saved as an SVG. What are you doing with an SVG, you crazy people? Let me fix this. I didn't realize it was an SVG. Let me save it as a PNG. So I'm gonna go out and save it as a PNG real fast. 1 second here so I can upload it correctly. We call this the logo, put it on my desktop. It'll be a PNG, back to Discord. And okay, so there's the finished product of that. And there you can see it. Is that Cubist, Scott? Because I don't know Cubism very well.
Yeah, close enough. Cubism is everything looks kind of blockish.
Oh, so I should probably put Cubism instead of Cubist, huh?
Close enough.
Close enough. All right. So now we'll do something with the Visions logo. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to upload the, there should be a V logo in here. There it is. That should bring the Visions logo in. I'm going to hit enter, which is going to put it into the stream so that the thing can find it. I'm going to go and I have to grab the URL for it. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to go back to Discord, which you couldn't see what I did. But now we're going to say imagine. So I'm going to do imagine. I'm going to put in this prompt with a dragon in the style of cyberpunk. Whoops. Let's see what it does. So it took that picture. It's going to use that as part of its plan here. And it's going to try and take the Visions logo and do something with it. So let's see what it comes up with. Well, there's definitely going to be a dragon. I can see already that the logo is probably, oh, you know what? I'm going to do one more. I'm going to take the dragon out and just do it in the style of cyberpunk. But sometimes it'll get really lost in the piece of it. So, but you can see it's created these various things here. I could probably do a building with, you know, this on the side of it. But I'm just going to let it, these are cool, by the way, just because those are awesome. So let's see what it comes up with the logo once it looks at it. But yes, and the thing is, the trick is how good you are at sort of telling it what you want. As you can see, it's done some very, very cool things just in that background there. So I'm going to stop here because I'm going to do a big lesson on Midjourney. But what I'm trying to get across here is that if this is a product that's available to the public, what do they expect from us? You know, I mean, if you take pictures out and you take art out and you put finance in, you know, what could AI do? So I'll leave it at that in the sense of kind of what's out there. And I wanted to just go around and see, you know, if anybody has any big AI projects on the horizon for next year of the groups that we have with us. So if you're a Crayon, and I know Cynthia, I know Visions has a couple things that are on the block. Maybe Cynthia, you want to kick it off for us if you don't mind. But yeah, let's have a discussion on kind of what's out there.
John, you just wanted of what were, you know, some of the things that Kevin shared yesterday?
Yeah, that'd be great. I thought that the AI stuff was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on the AI side. We've got a pretty large data scientist group that does a lot and machine learning group that's doing a lot on that side. I think some of the things that were discussed yesterday, I was really impressed with the one that was brought up about the delinquency, being able to know that your member's getting ready to go delinquent before they go delinquent. Coming up with that one was impressive to me. Things that we've just got a lot. I mean, I could go through a list of them, but you know, some of the biggest things that we're working on too on the DevSecOps side. Zest AI is being implemented right now. We've got Finalytics that we rolled out a few months ago. That's really been powerful for us to convert members that are looking at different things into an actual to purchase something or to open an account. So that's underway. Just a few of the things.
Yeah, I think I agree on the delinquency. I mean, a defensive move for 2023 seems very valuable. I've also been impressed with what I've heard about Zest AI. particularly folks going from 10, 12 criteria to 200 criteria for lending, the ability to drill into that. So I think those are important. And I think, having something kind of that competitive advantage, a defensive move, and some of the other stuff is really, really valuable. As time goes on, I think that there's a pattern to this where we want to be able to somehow, in a collaborative way, and I liked what Albert said, be able to come up with some of these strategies for the credit union movement altogether. Because one of the big value propositions of data analytics is that it's based in volume, veracity, variety, and when we look at those types of things, the volume piece of it kind of speaks to a collaborative opportunity. Folks like Ox, Trellance. So I see those as big players, because without the data, you can't make the inferences without the AI portion of it. So, but I think early warning collections is very valuable. Anybody else have anything interesting that they're working on in the AI space that they're looking at for their credit union?
John, I think it probably goes back to the bot discussion. But I was talking to a credit union person about 2 weeks ago, and he said that there are some processes that they've looked at that they can cut out 25 steps. And his measurement for saving time was in the millions of hours over the course of a year or two, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is very cool. We heard the similar concept with Suncoast. They kind of throw out the savings from the year before. So they go, yeah, what's happened. That's just a new normal. But the new stuff they had done this year, they were talking somewhere in the order of 80,000 hours. Now, obviously, they're a 10 billion plus organization in terms of assets, but that's significant from an FTE challenge. So, Scott, from your perspective, as you look out in the space there, this idea of, I talk about this frequently because I always give credit to the person, which was Alan from True West, but he said that our main job is to triple, double, quadruple the size of the credit union without triple, double sizing the FTE in the organization, which is the largest expense. And I hear a lot of people thinking about bots, not so much bots doing the work, but bots in front of things like this Discord platform, where there's kind of a bot there that's, instead of building an entire interface, the Midjourney folks said, you can just use Discord, way cheaper for them, right? Have you heard anybody kind of heading in that direction? And also any other thoughts around that sort of future proposition of, how the credit union should look in terms of FTE versus asset?
Well, that's kind of a heavy question for someone in the PR business, but I think there's a lot.
I have a feeling you're more than capable of.
I suspect there's so much low-hanging fruit out there that we ought to be focused on some quick wins before we, go after the really big stuff. You referenced chatbots in Glia earlier, and we've got experience with Glia. I had a chat experience in the auto space just a couple days ago, and it didn't take but about 30 seconds for that chatbot to go, "We're just going to have somebody call you. What's your telephone number?" And I thought, well, that's not very efficient at all.
But what's interesting about that is, I had a similar experience, and I'll pose this question. I like your point here, Scott. So for everybody on the call, if you have the option of chatting or calling an organization, and I'll give you my sample before you answer, mine was Xfinity, and I'll give you a background on what happened. I sold my home. I called Xfinity. I said, I won't be living here anymore. It would be helpful if you would turn off the service there and turn it on at this new place where I live. And they certainly, and there was some overlap. We had the new place before the last place. Actually, Melissa, who's on the call, helped me set it up. And lo and behold, 3 months, 4 months later, I get a bill from them for 4 months of Xfinity, business Xfinity at my old home. And I call the people that bought my house and they're paying too. And I'm like, okay. So, but I hate calling. So I just hopped on the Xfinity chat and, I did what I used to do in the phone system, which is I'm just going to press 0 and hope I go right. Because I know there's no automated way to deal with this. There is no, you moved out of your house, we turn the service off in one place, press 4 if you no longer live in your house. It's not going to exist. So I know I got to talk to somebody. And I got a person and I got information. What I liked about it was I'm the kind of person that takes screenshots of when these people say things. I can't really do that on a phone call. I can take notes. I can ask who it is. And I got it all resolved via the chat, which is my preference. I will always choose a chat bot on a website if I can over calling the place. But I'd like to know what other people think because I'm not normal. So, and I'm aware of that. Chat any day. Okay. So Pam says chat. I treated everything through texting and chat channels. Okay. Scott wants to chat. Clearly it didn't work out in his last try. So,
I like to start there, but it seems like the things that I need of customer service are just beyond what chat can do for me.
but if they could have
No.
brought someone, an actual real person, if it could have handed you off in the chat to a real person
Yeah.
who could
Yep.
help you, would that have been preferable?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's my thing. So how many of you as Crayons have a chat that is automated that when it is that it gets beyond what the automation can do, it'll flip it over to an actual member service rep as opposed to, hey, we can't help you with this automated tool. We're going to call you or put you in a queue. I'm assuming maybe Mini Branch does that with the QR codes that it can just keep you in that channel. And the point is that if it is that you started in that channel, then you can kind of assume that's the channel of choice.
I think the benefit of.
Tanya Holland. Hey, Tanya, she starts with a human. So first thing you get is a human, huh? What?
Yeah,
Tanya, can
that's
you
right. Yeah,
tell
our
us about that?
members, they're just so used to that personal service, and
Well,
we
tell us about your
found-
credit union so everybody knows which credit union you're with.
Sure. So Parkview Federal Credit Union are about 330 million in assets and have an in-house call center. So they double up our contact center. They double up on phones and chat. We found that it doesn't go over well when they get automation. So the chats go straight to our contact center team at first point of contact.
Wow. How do they verify the member?
So if they're behind the login in online banking, that helps, right? Because then we get
Yeah,
some of that authentication
already
that's
know,
already
yeah.
complete. That's right. Otherwise, we'll use things out of the core system. Obviously, being careful there, but
And do members like what's the reaction to that member? And which is chat is more and more people doing chat or
no,
know-
they prefer a phone call, which surprises me. But we have a far more volume of phone calls coming through than chats right now, even though it's embedded in digital banking and on the marketing site and everywhere you'd expect it, it's there. They tend
And
to
you-
prefer phone calls.
you can certainly talk much faster than you can type. So I assume that a call would be more efficient. But then you also probably talk less, but that's not a good thing, or it could be, I don't know. That's fascinating. I'd love to learn more as time goes on, because my suspicion is as your membership continues to progress into, when we get the first millennial senator or something just recently, like we're starting to see that group, move into that space. As you continue to grow into this next round, if from a demographic standpoint, if that mixture begins to change,
Sure. Yep, agreed.
but you have me at human. Like that is my preference, because I look at the menu items and I'm smart enough to know what the thing can handle, I like, if I was just like, for example, I was trying to get my title from one of the credit unions for a car I bought. And the bot's like, I could help you with your payment. I could help you with this. And I'm like, none of those options are going to work. And there isn't an option for talk to somebody. So, I finally just wound up having to call to get that to happen. But
But even on the call, you go into.
yeah, I'm still gonna have to deal with that. Yeah, I just hit 0 though. At least that's an option, like, or you just keep shouting human at it to see if it will send you to someone. Representative, yeah. So yeah, I think that's fascinating, but I think that whole idea, I do agree with Scott that there's a lot of low hanging fruit, particularly for RPA, which is what he was mentioning to begin with, which, what'd you say it, Scott, was like millions of hours that Graham was gonna save? Was it a huge, enormous organization?
It is, and I'll give you the one example. The process to close or transfer funds when somebody passes away. That one in particular, he cited as having about 25 different steps involved with dealing with that customer situation. Now it's not, hopefully it doesn't happen a whole lot, but it's going to happen.
Oh yeah, during COVID, it was obviously happening a lot. I mean, a lot of our organization, a lot of our members were elderly, and there was a big deal about that. And frankly, we don't do a good job of handling it when members die. I've discussed this throughout the country with boards and other people that, we should have like a service or something to track that down. We should know before they call us. We should do more with it. I know there are some cranes to do, but it's a difficult process. So yeah, I could see that. And when, by the way, no one's happy. And oh, by the way, if you want to keep that family, or you want that money to transition, or you want that generation, wouldn't it be good to be more proactive about that? So I like where their head is on that. But I think low hanging fruit for me are PDFs are certainly like really prime targets for the RPA stuff. We know that. We know any kind of logging into a website to download something to then put it somewhere else as a prime target could just be a button click. We know that, anytime you've got duplication of data, duplicate entry, that it's a prime target. And, we want to find out. My suggestion is just go hang out in your call center for a day or two, or go hang out, just watch them.
Anything that involves paper.
Yeah, anything that involves paper is a prime target.
Right, and we need to look at this, the power.
Yeah.
I've got some very specific processes that involve paper.
One of my favorite ones is HR.
Well,
my God.
Referral tracking.
Yeah, referral tracking is another example, and people are starting to do that, which is, the changing business of it. Anybody else have any other interesting examples? Tanya, are you going to be doing anything with that system to, maybe push into other channels beyond just the chat that's behind the home banking and on the website? Like maybe Discord?
We actually have a conversion or update coming to that this spring. So we're going to be migrating to Mahalo for digital banking. And with that will come a new vendor for our chat. So it's going to be a good opportunity to see what the volume looks like when you're going through a conversion, right? You always have additional influx of contacts. Are we going to see more of it coming through that way? Or are we going to see our call volumes, which are they going to spike, similarly, or is one going to be heavier than the other?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. And I'll tell you, if Ant had a Ant bot in Discord, I would use it. And I suspect a lot of people would. Or even that, and it could be the same thing as what's on the screen. That's the thing. These chatbots can learn, from place to place. But you saw how I could do pictures and updates and add buttons. It could be, give me my statement. Like it changes that tier to a whole different thing. I'm not like click, click, drill, click. Where did they put it? Oh, it's under options. And finally, I find my way to statements. Let me just ask for it directly. Hey, I would like my August 2021, statement. Boom. There it is. Do you find people, getting documents or anything through the chat channel?
I don't work directly with that team. I'm not sure. Our volume would be maybe about a half a dozen requests a day come through there. Far more by phone.
Yeah, but as a $300 million crane, that's still quite a bit.
Yeah, Pam's on here too, and she works a little bit with that. And we were just chatting in Teams saying that we need to review. We want to make sure it pops a little bit more. So it's a little more in your face and members are aware it's available as we go into this conversion coming up.
Yeah, particularly when I think I always put a lot of, value into my little straw polls. Like, for example, I asked how many people would be interested in chat, and we don't have one person that said, no, I'd rather call. And I know it's a small cross section, but it tells me that a lot of people would really like to be able to use the chat function. And I know it's a preference for me because one, it sort of feeds multitasking, because the only thing I don't like is when I can't find the window again. It's kind of like can't find the mute button. But no, I do think that that's a big deal. So, all right, well, I'm going to end this with one more thing for everybody. I have a Christmas gift for you. Well, one you got to buy, but hey, I think Jackie's on the call. Jackie, can you bring up that slide on the new book that we've got coming out in December?
Sure. 1 second. Let me grab it.
Or Melissa can, whichever one. So I have been working hard because people won't stop asking me about crypto. And I recognize it's kind of in a downturn, but all it takes is a good day and suddenly it's back up to 23 and all the naysayers will be gone, right? So and keep in mind, it's not like it was something that started last year and now is fizzling out. This has been around for 9 years. I just, even the crypto itself, the difference between the currencies, how the technology works, the history of it. And so finally, I just sat down and I wrote a book. It's not a long book. It's not like Breaking Digital Gridlock, which was a fairly long book. It's a shorter book. It's more informational, but it is directly sort of explaining it for financial institutions, for credit unions. I'll kind of, we're working on the cover of it. So you can give me your opinion on A or B if you're interested in the chat. So far, B's been winning by a landslide. But it's going to be basically a platform or a book that you can sit down. It's what you need to know as a financial person about it, not what you need to know to go out and buy crypto. It's understanding the technology. It's understanding the value proposition of it. It's understanding maybe what your members are doing. And we're going to kind of put it out there. It'll be in Amazon, so I'll get it out. And yeah, if you guys are interested, we'll definitely be putting it out. And it's I spent, I don't know, about 6 months on it, and I feel like it's see, I knew Scott. It's funny, all the marketing people love A and everybody else loves B. Scott could be a Vikings fan too because it's got the purple in it. But so anyways, we'll be getting this out for everybody to take a look. It's going to have a forward from Roger Grimes about quantum and the effect quantum is going to have on crypto. So that'll be exciting. And we're hoping to have it in the store early in December. They'll make nice Christmas gifts for your friends. And I think it's going to cost not much. So, but I just kept getting a constant push to do something. So I did something. And I couldn't have done it without my team. So many thanks to Melissa and Jackie and Elliot and all the big team because they've been super helpful. And I think I sent a pre-copy to Cynthia already. But there you go. So we're a little early, but you know what? That's okay. Melissa, are we doing another town hall before the end of the year, or is this it?
I believe this is
The last
there's
one, right?
one more. Nope, there's
One more. Okay.
in 2
Two
weeks.
more. Okay. So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll actually have this out and a link for it in Amazon. And I thank you always for all of your participation and for listening to me ramble. So this is John signing out from Astoria. Everybody take care.